an issue that is important to our school children before we decide to dive into whether we want to solve school transportation issues for our kids. Right now, the state of Florida mandates that everyone over 2 miles is eligible for school transportation, but we understand that kids that as low as 5 years old shouldn't be walking in the dark, crossing streets, walking 1,500 feet to a bus stop, staying in the dark at night. So as we go to solve this problem, we're going to do a study. This bill proposes to do a pilot study with 5 counties, large, medium, small. And what we're asking them to do is take a look at the way and the concerns that we've brought up in this bill and apply those to how they do their routing, and then compare that to how an AI software could make their routing more efficient. We have picked 5 counties for a reason. They're big, they're medium, and they're small, and one of them is rural, so we understand kind of the effects. What we're going to do is take that information, come back, take a look at it, and understand. Then we can project out what our cost would actually be from going from 2 miles to 1. Is it 1 mile that we should do? Is it 1.5 miles? And how AI can help us be a little bit more efficient. Ma'am, that is the bill.
Thank you very much. Are there questions of the sponsor? Representative Valdez.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you, Rep. Alvarez, for bringing this bill forward. I see that our county is included in this, which is exciting. You know that our county years ago worked on a changing the school times. So we were ahead of the game with the school start time. And at that time, I remember that the transportation was a huge component of that, and the massive amount of time it took to implement. So my question is, with this pilot, how do you envision the pilot to work as far as do they need to procure a vendor? Do they need to, what do you foresee that to look like, and what kinds of supports would the districts that are chosen within the pilot program receive from either the DOE or through an appropriation with the bill?
You're recognized.
Thank you. So we want to be crystal clear, because I think this caused a little bit of confusion when we said pilot study. No one's actually taking any kids on the road right now. We're gonna have their planners take a look at, if we, for example, part of our bill says you can't. If you were to plan, what would we do if we said that there was a rule that you can't walk within 3 miles of a sexual offender? Put that into your planning, create your system, and tell me how much that would cost. Then with the AI software, how much that same exact system would actually cost. There is theories, right? And so we're operating on theories right now because this stuff is so new that we could actually take buses off the road, or need less buses, or need less money required to do something like that. So thankfully, we've gotten some volunteers at AI companies to come in and provide those services pro bono, we believe. We're still putting that together, and we think that's exactly going to be the option, because the idea is to have zero fiscal here and have counties put their input with us instead of us telling the counties. I think Rep. Nixon said, hey, listen to the teachers. Well, we're going to listen to the school boards at this time, right? We want to make sure we get their input. They know we're doing this collaboratively. We have a problem to help solve for kids, and we're going to do it in a way that is both cost effective, and then on the back end, when we make a bill, we actually figure out how to support them financially.
Fabulous. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any further questions? Representative Nixon, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hey, Rep. Alvarez, I did get a chance to talk to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Buddy. I have a question. So at line 54, the bill, it directs Department of Education to assist school districts with implementation. They generally don't help with transportation. And so what kind of assistance is this referring to? Is it financial assistance? What is it?
It's not. I think it's more regulatory and rule creation to make sure that we get this pilot program up and running. So this is really going to be a collaboration with the schools, the AI software, and then the report back to us. Am I saying that correctly?
You are. Do you have a follow-up? Representative Aristide, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Representative Alvarez. Just one quick question, if you could just help me. As far as bus drivers, is that part of the calculation? Because normally that's the biggest challenge right now.
Yes, sir.
I was just curious.
No, it's a great question. And that's what we're trying to figure out. Right now, we know that it's hard to get bus drivers in. Are we paying them enough? But if we have route recalculation on the way, right, because the software is figuring out, school bus times, school bus routes, traffic, and all that stuff, do we need, we would have normally thought we needed 50 new ones. Now we only need 30 new ones. Is that the reality? That's what we're trying to figure out. So yes, sir. The answer is yes.
Thank you. Any further questions of the sponsor? Representative Bracy Davis, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. So I believe the bill uses the word efficiency when referring to reroute. How will efficiency be defined? Could you?
How will it be
defined?
You're recognized.
If efficiency would have the normal definition that we would use for efficiency. There's nothing special about that word in my reading, ma'am. Not being flippant.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. When referring to dynamic route adjustments for safety, what is the definition of dynamically changed routes?
You're recognized.
In an effort to be super hip and cool, I'm using a very AI-friendly word that tells you it's super dynamic and cool.
Any further questions, Representative? You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And you do sound pretty hip.
Thank you.
What is the estimated cost for the fiscal implementation of the pilot program?
You're recognized.
If we weren't getting, there is no fiscal at this moment. If there was, we estimate what it would cost to do something, about $250,000, but we're not spending that. There is no budget for this whatsoever. We're trying to work collaboratively with all the stakeholders to get us to a point it's almost like a proof of concept.
Thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none. Oh, excuse me. Representative Black, you're recognized for a question.
I just had to ask a question of the most hip representative in this building. Honestly, you may have already answered this, and I'm just a little slow on the uptake. Representative Alvarez, so my understanding of the pilot is that in doing this, it's sort of a proof of concept, and the idea is that you'll gather enough data so that you have enough data points to feed into and actually create the AI system, right?
You're recognized.
So originally we had a bill that we were going to require, if we were going to do this plan, that AI be used when available. It turns out that there's several companies that provide this type of service specifically towards bus routing and transportation. So we're going to let them occupy the space and them tell us where, if there's an efficiency that can be had, if there's a dynamic route that can be taken, and if there's money to be saved in the process. So really what we're doing is let them show us what it looks like traditional, what it looks like with AI, and then figure out how much it's going to cost us overall. So, for example, we could come back to you and say we want to mandate the use of AI. All school districts, I don't want to do that if it doesn't work, and I don't want to do that without getting some input that there's a reality based in that. So, does that answer your question, sir?
It does, thanks.
Thank you. We're going to move on to public testimony. Sharman Postal, Florida PTA, is a proponent of the bill wishing to speak. You're recognized.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. My name is Charmaine Postal, a parent and education chair of Florida Parent-Teacher Association, representing nearly 200,000 parents, students, and stakeholders statewide. So not just the school board rep, but also parents are excited about this bill. We strongly support HB 1213, which expands student transportation eligibility and prioritizes children's safety. Currently, school transportation is only required beyond 2 miles, and this HB 1213 bill reduces that to that 1 mile, as was previously stated, acknowledging the real dangers that children face walking to school. Florida ranks amongst the most dangerous states for pedestrians, and parents cite safety concerns as the top reasons they don't allow their children to walk or bike to school. When a child is hit by a car, the result is often tragic. I was a student that was hit by a car nearly 30 years ago. My brother and I were walking to school, and we were both hit by a car. While we survived, I still carry permanent scars on both of my knees, and my brother carries a permanent scar on his, or permanent injury on his right foot. Still walking with a limp today, nearly 30 years later. So this pilot program is a critical first step, and we know it will be successful because of the high demand for safer routes. While we hear financial concerns that may exist in the future, Rep has assured us there is no financial bearings to this bill, and the PTA has long supported policies like HB1213 because students' safety should never be optional. So we look forward to the future conversation to not only expand this, to start this pilot program, but we look for future conversations to expand this program throughout the state. Rep, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Luaban Don wishes to appear in person. Okay, we'll move on. Commissioner Jennifer Vizcarra, Sunny Isles Beach, waves in support. Tara Reed Cherry, Hop Skip Drive, waves in support. Is there any debate on the bill? Members, any debate? Representative Bracy Davis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to say thank you to the representative from the PTA for speaking. Oftentimes when we read these bills, they're bills, they're words, and for you to connect kind of your personal story, it gives us as legislators some emotional attachment as to why this is important. And, when you're reading hundreds and hundreds of bills, sometimes you forget that. So while I know you're representing the PTA, I thank you for being personal so that we can understand that working out some of these issues actually do affect people and their safety. So I appreciate you being so transparent.
Thank you. Representative Nixon, you're recognized in debate. Representative Woodson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chair Alvarez, I am so glad that the PTA testified because I had some reservation when I came because I did not talk to my county and I wanted to make sure, everything was okay with them. So I appreciate you testifying, and I have the courage to look at you in the eyes and say, I will vote up on your bill. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.
Got me.
Representative Black, you're recognized.
I just want to thank you, Representative Alvarez. This is very clever, a great idea, really smart, forward thinking, looking at a problem and figuring out a way to do it with really very little risk to the taxpayers, and the potential payoff is just huge. We'll see what the turnout is, but I suspect it'll be great things, and what a brilliant start. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Valdez, you're recognized in debate.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Alvarez, for bringing this bill forward and this study. I believe that, procurement's going to, I'm hoping that the AIs, I'm not sure how the school districts are going to procure, even if it's for pro bono. I don't know if they're going to be assigned an AI representative or what that process is going to be, because that procurement takes a little bit of time to get to that point. So I'm hoping that when this pilot program begins, that there's a collaborative spirit of being able to, look at the processes that that the school boards, or I should say the staff, because the pilot will be done by the staff. So, and take their concerns and considerations and keep them in mind. So this is a great bill. It's long overdue for us to study this. Florida has grown tremendously. I can think of so many different places in our school district that are hazardous walking conditions, and those concerns of later on in the future, once we get the pilot program going, that we fully fund the ability to transport our children safely. So I am so excited about this bill, voting up on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Alvarez, thank you so much for bringing this bill forward. It's really great when we can see our passions turn into purpose. I know this is something that is really close to your heart, and it's a topic that we have discussed many times in this committee. And as Representative Valdez said, she talked about hazardous road conditions, and we had a bill heard in this committee just a little earlier this session on that topic. So we understand how important school safety is, and safety of transportation for our children is. And I'm so excited that you're taking the charge on it, and you are welcome to close on your bill.
Thank you, ma'am. Normally when I face something that is either right or wrong and it's time to fight it, I just do it because it's the right thing to do, no matter the challenge. And so that's how I face this 1 mile issue. But this is not the year to spend or ask for $150 million plus to get this going. And in reality, it's probably not the most evidence-based way to do it. Emotions do carry the day when it comes to kids for me, but numbers and evidence will take us across the finish line. So you credit me. I just want you to know that although I came with the emotional idea and the will to fight it, it was Chair Trabulsi and then Chair Kennedy who came up with a great concept, as well as our policy chair, Chris Sanchez back there, who came up with the idea. I'm simply just not that smart of a person. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the collaborative effort, and let's get this going. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Kendall, please call the roll.
Representatives Albert,
Yes.
Alvarez J,
Yes.
Aristide,
Yes.
Wasabi,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Gracie Davis,
Yes.
Gossett Sideman,
Yes.
Holcomb,
Yes.
Mooney,
Yes.
Nix,
Yes.
Nixon,
Yes.
Horaz,
Yes.
Zapp,
Yes.
Valdez,
Yes.
Weinberger,
Yes.
Woodson,
Yes.
Chair Trabulsi,
Yes.
17 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. By your vote, the bill is reported favorably. Members, we're going to take a 7th inning